ลำดับถัดไปขอนิมนต์นะครับพระภิกขุณีธรรมนันดาครับ
กราบนมัสการหลวงพี่ค่ะ Your Excellencies, it is wonderful to be standing here in front of two ambassadors. Really my honor. It's a shame, they asked me to speak in Thai, and it's not fair because we have both Thai speaking and English speaking. So what do? I cannot speak in Hindi. But I tell you, I'm very happy to really come here to be among you again. More than 20 years ago, I was working as the director of Indian Studies program in Thammasat University, and that was the time when I really worked very closely with the Indian communities. And every time when I think about my 4 years of sitting in that chair, that was a joy of my life. I was in Thammasat University for 27 years, but it was only the last 4 years that I was sitting there as a professor at the same time chairing this Indian Studies program that I truly enjoy my service to the government, Thai government as well as the Indian government. Allow me to share with you 1972, that was the year when I went to India, and Calcutta was the place where I landed. Jagaram, Ek Anna, Jagaram. That time they still use Anna, and one cup of tea was only 1 Anna, and that was on the station, at the railway station. At that time, many Thai people get confused with how many annas in 1 rupee. Some of them said 8 annas. No, 8 annas is only half. That is only 50 paisa. So I was there during the time when they were still using annas. And when I was a student there, it is 4 baht to 1 rupee. And now 1 rupee. 1 baht is 2 rupees. Something like that, no? So, I really have come a long way. I really have come a long way. When I was in India, in Calcutta, I heard about this Ramakrishna mission, but I look at Thakur photo. I'm sorry, Thakur. I was not interested in him. I didn't like this man sitting there naked, half naked. That was not my style. But it was Swami Vivekananda, whom I was really impressed. That was the style, He had, ภาษาไทยบอกว่าเป็นคนมีมาดนะ Vivekananda had that kind of, how to say, personality that really attracts, In 1893, when he was in Chicago, that was a time when he exposed the Western world to the Asian spiritual height, I would say. That was a time when they recognized, my gosh, these Asian people really have something that we didn't think of, And Swami Vivekananda was the one who really turned the world, Western world, to be more interested in Asian spiritual culture. I'm very proud of him, particularly when I was there in Chandaniketan, you're surrounded by the Bengalis, and Bengalis, I was made to believe, it may be true. Whatever Bengali think today, India can think about it only tomorrow. That's the attitude of the Bengalis, So I was very proud to be with them. But much later on, only I realized what Thakur was telling us about. At the very beginning of this session, you have that singing. It is singing or chanting. As a monastic, I'm not allowed to sing, But this, when you go to Varanasi, Ram, 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 Jaya, Jaya, Ram. Is that singing or is that chanting? Am I allowed to do that? As a monastic, am I allowed to do that? Am I transgressing our Vinaya? หลวงพี่ ผิดศีลมาร้องเพลงอย่างนี้สัพพโกตัมสัมปิเตภควาน was so beautiful. You know, I really felt my spirit was being lifted up in this particular atmosphere. And Thakur not only singing, he even was dancing. He was dancing for hours, you know, in this completely absorbed into that spiritual energy. Something that you read through this book, I think this book is unique. This book is unique because it is not written for scholars, but it is not also not written for lay people, just stories one after another. No, this is a discovery of Thakur through his followers. One time when he was asking his followers, what do they think of him? Someone was praising him very highly, you know. He didn't accept that. But this one particular student said that, I don't know, but it is like, you know, this wall and there's a hole here, and I looked through the hole and I could see the larger world outside. Thakur, you are just like this hole that I look through and I can see the universe, the universal truth. That is something that Thakur is breaking down the wall of, how to say, all etiquettes, you know, all what social setting. And in order for you to really come to this experience, this spiritual truth, you have to break through this เรียกว่าอะไรต้องสามารถที่จะก้าวข้ามสิ่งที่สังคมสร้าง have to go beyond what society set the walls for us. Talking about the right spirit, เจตนาในของถักกุลหรือแม่ขออนุญาตเรียกถักกุลนะครับให้ก้าวข้ามตัวตนพุทธศาสนาสอนอย่างนั้นไหมให้ก้าวข้ามตัวตนนะครับเพราะฉะนั้นเป็นภาษาเดียวกัน It is the same thing what Buddhism is talking about and what Thakur is talking about is Cetana, the intention, the right spirit that takes you beyond self. As long as you are being captured, being caged within this self, you will not be able to realize the truth beyond. I really have to be very thankful to Dr. Suvit Vipunset อาจารย์คนที่จะแปลหนังสืออย่างนี้นะมันไม่ได้หาได้ง่ายๆ It's not easy to find anyone to translate this kind of work, you know, so I really congratulate him. And I am very grateful to Swami Jetananda for collecting and presenting to us in a way that lay people can read it. At the same time, we get that academic values out of this book. So I really recommend for those who have not yet read or know anything about Thakur, about Sri Ramakrishna, this book is a kind of a guidebook to allow you to be close to him. That's how I feel. And when I try to raise my own people in my temple, many people like to come in and help, you know. I said, please don't come and help me. You must know my goal first. Only then, when you agree with my goal, then you come in and help. Because I get many people who come in and help and they start fighting. You don't do the way I like to do, you know, that kind of thing. So instead of feeling good going back home, you don't feel good because they don't do the way I do, you know. So unless and until you are able to get over this holding on to self, seva does not happen. ภาษาไทยว่าไงเสวะการทำงานเพื่อถวายนะต้องเป็นการทำงานที่อุทิศนะอุทิศการยึดมั่นถือมั่นในตัวตนเนี่ยนะคะถึงจะเป็นเสวะ So this Hindi word, you know, seva, it covers so many things, but we don't have that one particular Thai word to say seva. Seva is come and offer yourself. When you offer yourself to God, There is no clinging to I, me, my mind any longer. And that is very much the same attitude for the Buddhist. Many people have already repeated this, that maybe God, you can call God, you can call the unnamed, you can call oneness, you can call the truth. I think we are talking about the same thing. But why we are fighting? Because this same mountain, but you come from different part of the mountain. That's why we are fighting. But as long as we climb the mountain, come to the top, once when you get to the top, you don't say a word. You don't need a word to say anything because you experience the same thing. So this spiritual experience is a direct experience. So that's why in Buddhism we have come and experience it. Invite you to come and experience it. Thakur is doing the same thing. He's waiting for someone to understand him so that they can continue what he has discovered. He is like that hole, to allow you to see the larger universe. So when you do work for this seva, you need to have, in this book, you need to have kemtit. You have to have kemtit. Otherwise, what is the English word for kemtit? Compass, thank you, Ka Ajahn. Otherwise, you lose direction. So you have to have compass in the way you make offering, in the way you offer yourself to God, to Thakur, to work for the public. You must know the direction. Otherwise, you will waste your time. You will waste your energy. And when you stand, it is like you're standing on sand. It is not solid under your feet. At the same time, with the spirit of seva, you have to be humble. I have been teaching, in that pen that I gave you, change agent, C-H-A-N-G-E, change agent. The word, the letter H is humble. Thakur talking about humble. It is like clay. When you are making something, that clay has to be soft enough so that you can form the statue. And then he talked about this purpose. It is like a mother cat who actually is biting. The way she bites on the baby. The baby cat, how do you say baby cat? The kitten. No, the same. You look from outside. It is the same. She's holding on to this the neck, and then carry the baby across like that. But at the same time, when the mother cat bite on the rat or mouse, it is different. Huh? It looks from outside, it looks the same, but it is different. Why? Purpose. Purpose is different. So when you serve God, serve the oneness, purpose have to be clear. One time, Thakur was speaking to his disciple, and suddenly he became silent. And then he was talking that he was with somebody else, with some other student, and that some other student is somewhere else, So the student who was with him was puzzled what is going on with Thakur. So this, the ability to perceive beyond himself was present, and it is explained in this book quite clearly. And sometimes he would hold his breath for so long that he becomes so still, In Buddhism, in Buddhist practice, we explain this as your breathing becomes so refined that there is no movement from outside. So people from outside might think that you are dead because you are so still. ลมหายใจเมื่อฝึกปฏิบัติละเอียดเข้าสามารถที่จะคนข้างนอกมองนะคะเหมือนกับเรานั่งนิ่งตายไปแล้วแต่จริงๆแล้วยังหายใจอยู่แต่ลมหายใจนั้นละเอียดจนคนข้างนอกมองไม่เห็น Thakur experienced that, made that kind of experience which scared his students, whether he's dead or alive because he was so still. So this, in Buddhism we talk about Kaya and Jit, body and mind, the ability to be apart from the body, completely apart from the body is Buddhist practice also. สามารถที่จะแยกกายกับจิตนะคะพระอาจารย์ท่านที่ท่านปฏิบัติตามถ้ำทำอะไรเนี่ยท่านจะมีความสามารถในการปฏิบัติไปถึงขั้นนั้น so Thakur also experienced that Ajahn Suvit is checking on me and he said yes very good very good I feel very good that Ajahn Suvit actually is helping me I after my ordination being the first one to be ordained in my country you know, they don't allow us to be ordained in Thailand. Your Excellency, we have to go abroad. I have to go to Sri Lanka and sometimes to India to receive higher ordination. So I get caught in this ordination thing, you know. But for Thakur, no ordination. If you are committed to God, if you have given your spirit to God, that's it. Khatam ho gaya. For him, you know, no ordination. I was so impressed, you know, and I was looking at myself. Look, I get through this so many details of ordination, but Thakur just simply, during his time, he did not perform any ceremony of ordination. He told Narendra, his immediate disciple, to perform this, you know. And in the film, we saw that he was just giving the robe. That's it. You go out and pikha, go out and beg. The Bhikkhuni are the female who beg, and he is a male who beg, you know. So we could go out on the street and we beg. And literally, we are doing the same thing. But now we focus so much on ordination process. You know, I have to spend so much money to go abroad in order to receive this ordination. But for him, Thakur just simply accept and let them practice, let them follow him, you know. So when you allow, he allowed his disciple to have that glimpse of the universe. All of them are committed, you know, with that glimpse of the universe. The disciple, the immediate disciple, committed, like Swami Vivekananda. The experience that Swami Vivekananda had with him a couple of times, you know, he was stunned. You know, he couldn't explain what was going on with him. But what Thakur did was to allow Vivekananda to have that immediate presence of the divine. So that is direct self-experience. Nobody could tell you. You cannot fake the news, you know. Now, in the present day, so many fake news. But with this experience, you cannot fake it because you actually experience yourself. So, in Buddhism also, when we practice, you know, มีปฏิบัติไปถึงฌานบางขั้นเนี่ยนะคะจะเกิดปีติใช่ไหมคะพอเกิดปีติในฌานเนี่ยน้ำตาร่วงไม่ได้ร้องไห้ไม่ได้เสียใจนะอาการปีติในฌานเนี่ยนะคะก็เป็นประสบการณ์ที่เราชาวพุทธเราก็ได้เคยสัมผัสนะคะและพอคนไหนได้สัมผัสเนี่ยคนนั้นน่ะก็จะรู้ตัวเองว่าสิ่งที่พระพุทธเจ้าสอนนะมีจริงนะแล้วก็ไม่ว่าจะความงดงามอย่างหนึ่งของศาสนาพุทธนะพระพุทธเจ้าเนี่ยนะคะท่านบอกว่าธรรมะมีอยู่แล้วแต่ว่าผู้ที่ไปค้นพบธรรมะนะเรียกว่าพุทธะเนี่ยจะเกิดขึ้นหรือไม่เกิดขึ้นก็ตามธรรมะมีอยู่แล้ว This is so beautiful that the Buddha himself said Dharma has always been there whether or not there is Buddha to discover it. A person who discovered Dharma is the Buddha. That's why we have so many Buddhas. You know, the present one is, I don't know, in พุทธวงศ์นะคะในคัมภีร์พุทธวงศ์เนี่ยเรามีพระพุทธเจ้าถึง28พระองค์นะ We have 28 Buddhas, the previous Buddhas, you know, like in Jain also. In Jain also you have 24, I think, 24 teachers before the before Mahavir. Now, while he was talking to his students, he asked for ของหมายให้ปรากฏเพื่อให้ลูกศิษย์ได้มีศรัทธาเพราะว่าคนที่มีศรัทธาเนี่ย for those who have faith allow them to have mark to have nimitta the sign so that those faithful ones will experience for themselves that they are on the right path. It is very interesting that you have this story. And when he was passing away, he passed away early. He did not reach 60 อาจารย์อายุเท่าไหร่ไม่ถึง60นะคะ he was concerned and he asked Narendra, his immediate disciple, to take care of the young ones, to take care of the younger brother. When he passed away, the doctor who was treating him, the doctor started to cry. But the disciple didn't believe that Thakur already passed away. The disciple was scolding the doctor for crying, but the doctor knew that Thakur is already gone. So he passed away around midnight. By 5 o'clock in the morning, when the disciples start feeling his body, to realize that he must have really gone because the body has gone cold. And they started singing Hari Om, Hari Om. This passing away of a teacher, I find is very, very moving, very moving. Whether or not his disciples will be able to continue this Ramakrishna mission, completely up to him. Completely up to them. He, as one who brought them the experience, allowed them to have this experience. Now it's up to them. So you have to be thankful for all these disciples who have been able to continue the message that Thakur has been able to deliver to them. I would like to talk about one of his disciples that I was very moved. He is Bengali, living in India. His name is, in this book, you can read about him in this book. His name is Girish Chandra Ghosh. He was the one who was,ทำละครนะคะภาษาอังกฤษว่าไง compose and perform. And he did not believe in this old man. He did not believe in this old man. And he was kind of making jokes, making fun of him. But then one day, somehow somebody invited him. And Girish was not interested, put him in a seat that is very noisy. But for the second time, when he went again, and every time, Thakur would always bow to everyone, even the young ones, and bow to him, this particular Girish. Second time, he even had to pay for his seat. 8 anna, he paid for his seat in order to go and enjoy this the play that was performed in Calcutta. Slowly, he turned this man, into a complete, disciple. He said, this Bengali man, he said, comparing to, he said his lips has touched so many dirty things before, and now when his lips touch the hand of Thakur was feeding him with sweets. He felt himself like a child, like a small child in front of the mother, and he explained about Thakur, that Thakur is like Mahasamud. ที่ไร้ที่สิ้นสุดนะอาจารย์ที่ไร้ที่สิ้นสุดแห่งความเมตตา It is like an ocean that is filled with loving kindness, overfilled with loving kindness, like that, So just with the touch of his hand, Thakur's hand, feeding him with this sweet, he melted down just like ice, melts down like that. So you read the story of Thakur through various explanations that the disciple talk about him. But the way Swami Vedanta arranged the story, interpret the story, compose the story so that it can be read both at academic level and as a layman's level. So I think this book is unique unique in that sense that it brought a man, this man who is living on earth just like us, at the same time divine, and present this man to you. And by reading the story of this man, divine person, at the same time earthly person, we can have that experience of the truth through him. So I hope that you get a glimpse of what I did, and I enjoyed, no, I should not say enjoy. being a monastic should not enjoy. I truly appreciate and truly get that sense, get that sense of oneness. And I felt that I was looking through this hole, to see the truth beyond. Thank you.